Hi, good afternoon, good morning, good evening. However you're joining us today, we are glad that you're joining us through this YouTube video. As you know, we've been on a journey for the last few weeks on discovering the emotions that destroy us. And what we're encountering is that we do have an emotion inside of us called anger that does destroy relationships, and it destroys other things too. So the goals of this video is to remind us that we can overcome these emotions. And these videos are specifically used for one purpose: to be able to equip you so that you could overcome these emotions that destroy. Today I want to remind you of the book that we're using. It's called Overcoming Emotions That Destroy by Chip Ingram. It is a very wonderful book. I had a chance to read it, and it is dynamic. It is life transforming. And through this life-transforming teaching, I hope that you are able to gain something that changes your life and gives you a different perspective. Today, what I want to do is I want to talk to you about something that maybe you may not quite understand why sometimes you're angry or other people are angry, right? Sometimes what happens is that when we get angry, it has to do with our expectations. We all have a level of expectations that we have within our lives, don't we? We expect certain things to take place, but they don't, which leads to us being angry. So today what we want to do is we want to look at these expectations that we have and how we're able to develop a little bit of more gratitude within our hearts, because I think that if we develop some gratitude, we'll be less angry. I want you to kind of think about something, go on a journey with me. Many of you guys have known somebody who has gotten into a car accident, or maybe you have gotten into a car accident. And it's an expectation that none of us would expect. None of us expect to get into a car crash, because there's a lot of things that could go wrong in a car crash. Some people lose their lives. Some people lose other things. Some people lose their cars. Other people just are fortunate enough to be able to walk away from a car accident. Now, when we begin to start looking at a bad situation and we see how bad things could actually have been, a level of gratitude begins to start rising up inside of us instead of being angry and frustrated, right? Maybe anger and frustration are going to creep in at another part, because you're going to discover that maybe the person didn't have insurance, or maybe you're starting to really feel the pressure of not how it feels of not having a car. But deep down inside of you, there's a level of appreciation that you have because you were able to walk away healthy, right? But then I also want you to think about something else. I want you to think about another expectation that you have. An expectation that you have is a wonderful candlelight dinner that you want to have with your spouse, or maybe you want to take, or maybe you want to go somewhere to treat yourself out. Really, really beautiful. One place me and my wife like going to is Buffalo Wild Wings, and we were there last night. And I didn't quite expect to see what I got. There was a few things that were some good highlights, but there were also some bad highlights. Typically when we go over there, the chicken wings are cold, and I like them warm. This time they almost had them right out of the fryer, and all the sauces were perfect. But there was another thing that took place that I wasn't too happy with. The place was dirty. They sat us in a place that they didn't even sanitize when they put us there. Another thing is that right on the bottom where we were, where you walk into the booth, there was a whole bunch of smashed French fries. And I was thinking, I'm like, man, isn't anybody going to come pick it up? Well, nobody did. Then I go into the restroom. Now that's a different story. It was not as clean as I thought. But then I kind of started thinking, I said, my expectations coming into this restaurant were high. I expected hot food, and I also expected the place to be clean. Well, it wasn't. which got me a little bit frustrated. But that was okay. I did not allow the little things to control my emotions. And what we have to recognize is that there is always going to be something that's going to be wrong. There's always going to be something that's going to be wrong. The world is not perfect. People are not perfect. Situations, circumstances, they're not going to be perfect. So here's what we have to do. If we want to overcome anger, we're going to have to let go of some expectations that we have within our lives. And we all have these expectations rooted inside of us for some reason or another. Some of us desire things to be a certain way. Some of us don't desire things to be a certain way. We all have a level of tolerance and expectations. I want you to kind of think about another situation where you go into your cabinet and you pull out a pack of popcorn and you put it in the microwave, and you recognize that your microwave says that the perfect setting for popcorn is just push this button. Then you hear the popping of the popcorn go off. You start smelling the popcorn, and then you're like, this is so good. I can't wait for it. But then the popping stops, but the microwave keeps on going. So what happens? The popcorn burns. Then you go to your popcorn, and then you say, man, I can't believe how this popcorn came out. It's all burned up. I mean, you could taste the burntness in all the popcorn. So you throw away the popcorn, which leads to you being frustrated and angry because you expected that popcorn to be just perfect. But the manufacturer timed that microwave wrong for the popcorn. Or you may have just discovered that your machine or your microwave now needs to be replaced, which leads to another frustration, right? You see, it's all about your point of view. You were expecting that popcorn to be perfect. Now, put that popcorn in somebody's hand who hasn't eaten it about it all day. They're going to be grateful, aren't they? They're going to say, man, tastes burnt, but man, I sure am glad I got this popcorn. So really, it's all about our expectation, right? Also, sometimes we got to, how to overcome the frustration, we got to do one thing. And here's the biggie. We have to accept that things are not perfect and that things are not going to go our way. The life isn't perfect. Microwaves aren't perfect. Popcorn isn't going to always be popped, and popcorn isn't always going to taste good, right? Sometimes it's going to get stuck between your teeth, and it might even cause a gum to get inflated, right? So remember that, church. So I want to encourage you. Always be careful about the certain words that you have been accustomed to throw around. Typically, how expectation is developed, it's because of our words that we use. Some of the words that we use are must, which demands something. Should, which gives us a feeling of entitlement. What's the other one? Never, which creates a zero tolerance rule. And always, which means that it should always be like this. So the level of frustration that we have within our lives is because we put rules, we put unwritten rules in locations. I had to talk to somebody a few days ago where their level of tolerance of them being angry was very high because they look at the small things as sin. Little things become sinful. And I'm like, well, here's what's happening is that you're getting frustrated, you're getting angry because you're looking at people's failures as it being a great sin. So this person's level of expectation needed to be lowered because they were looking at the small stuff as being sinful. So what I want to do today is I want to encourage you with two simple things. Well, three simple things. One of them is lower your expectations. And the reason why I say lower your expectations is because there's only one person that we should be expecting to be perfect, and that's Jesus. And here's what you're going to discover very quickly. Your spouse, it's not Jesus. That person at your job, not Jesus. That clerk, not Jesus. That person that you expect to clean up that mess before you showed up, like me, not Jesus. That mechanic that worked on your car and didn't turn out right, not Jesus. So that's a pretty good reminder I want to give you. Another thing is, begin to start changing some of the things that you say regarding these words. Must, always, never, and should. Turn them into hope. I hope things go this way. I wish things would go this way. I desire for things to go this way. And what that does, it begins to start lowering your expectations, where you say, if these things are not done, it's okay. It's okay. We all have a wish list, and many kids right now, they're developing their wish list with Santa, and many of them are going to be disappointed because they're going to discover that Santa got it wrong this time, which may lead them to be getting a little angry. But anyways, in time, because they didn't get what they were looking for, joy is going to be restored, because they're going to look right over to that gift and say, I could do something with this, right? So I would encourage you today with this video, as you're on this journey of overcoming emotions that destroy, I want to encourage you with one thing. Check your expectation levels. And as you begin to start dealing with those expectation levels, you'll be able to overcome your emotions that are trying to destroy you.